We just saw the Fnaf 2 movie, and as longtime fans of the franchise, we wanted to give our perspective, especially since most of the reviews out right now are from regular critics, not fans, because this movie was made for fans. If you're not a fan of this franchise, you will not like this movie, or even understand it. This review was written by me and my friend Lysopane. He wasn't able to record this with me, so I'll be speaking for both of us. We'll keep this first half of our review spoiler-free, and we'll give a warning before diving into spoilers. Here's what we liked. The transition from the first movie to the second is handled really well. It doesn't feel forced at all. And when Scott and Emma said the sequel would be bigger, bolder, and scarier, they absolutely meant it. The jump scares are a huge improvement. Even when some were a little obvious, the timing was much better. There were a few moments where we legitimately jumped, booty cheeks clenched and everything. The puppet is easily the scariest animatronic in the movie. Every scene with her had us on the edge of our seat. Her story is a little different from the games, but the angle they take is really interesting, and the music box is portrayed perfectly. Mangle was also a highlight. They were absolutely terrifying and in full bloodlust mode. The kills were really creative, and we loved how the filmmakers managed to pull off some of those scenes, especially considering the PG-13 rating. This movie is loaded with lore teases and Easter eggs, some quick, some obvious, and some blink and you miss it. Spotting them was extremely fun. We also get a good look at the actual mechanics of Fnaf 2. The first movie touched on the mechanics of the first game, but this one uses them a lot more creatively. The toy animatronics are a great addition. Their voices come together well, and there are a ton of animatronics in this movie. There are also a lot of new characters, including two we absolutely did not expect to see. The animatronic themselves look fantastic. The detail, the craftsmanship, and especially the movement. It feels all more natural, less like puppeteers pulling the strings, and more like actual characters with minds of their own. The movie has some good humor, and it includes a few references to FNAF memes which are really funny. Matthew Lillard returns as William Afton, and even though his screen time is limited, every scene he's in is great. The music is also really strong, a lot of remixes and callbacks to the first film's score, all sounding incredible. There are a lot of really cool action and fight scenes, and they're very fun to watch. And the opening scene is amazing. We're really hoping to get even more flashback or past timeline content in the third movie. Overall, this is a very solid movie, and we like the direction they're setting up for part 3. Here's what we didn't really like. While the horror is improved, the movie removes a lot of the adult moments, which leaves a few scenes feeling oddly empty. This doesn't entirely feel like a full sequel. Most of it is set up for the third movie. It feels more like a part 1 of a 2-part story, which is exciting for what's coming next, but makes this movie slightly underwhelming. Some of the humor lands, some of it doesn't. There are moments where it feels like the movie was trying too hard to push the horror instead of balancing it with everything else. The pacing wasn't bad, but it is rushed. Not in a we need to finish this movie ASAP way, but in a this movie is cramming in a lot and needed more time way. The ending left us with more questions than answers, and we both said the same thing when the credits rolled. Wait, that's it? Some plot connections feel like filler instead of meaningful story choices. One example is the documentary crew, the Spectral Scoopers. They show up out of nowhere and feel more like a plot device than an organic part of the story. Mike and Vanessa's relationship is okay. While there are moments that hint at a genuine connection or tension, the film doesn't explore their dynamic fully, leaving their interactions feeling somewhat flat compared to the stronger emotional beats with the other characters. There are many new characters, but several of them feel like they were just included to be included. Matthew Lillard has even less screen time here than in the first movie. He was amazing, but we wanted to see more of the man behind the slaughter. This movie being mostly set up for FNAF 3 is our biggest issue. We still love this movie and feel it remains very faithful to the fanbase. This film captures the spirit of the game and the first movie, delivering plenty of fan service, animatronic scares, and lore references that longtime fans will appreciate. If you enjoyed the first film, you're likely to enjoy this one as well, though it's important to go in with the understanding that it's more of a setup for the next installment rather than a fully standalone sequel. And heads up, there are 2 post-credit scenes in this movie. One is a full genuine scene, and the other is just a short audio clip that plays at the very end of the credits. Make sure to stick around for both. This is where our non-spoiler review ends. We are now moving into heavy spoiler territory. If you don't want spoilers, respectfully, go away. Let's start with the withered animatronics. The withered animatronics do appear, but only to show off FNAF 2 mechanics. Outside of that, they do almost nothing. maybe 5 minutes of screen time total. The trailers made it look like they were major characters, so this was disappointing. The scenes of Mike reenacting Fnaf 2 were fantastic. We really wanted to see more of them. There was a lot of dedication in how he performed, and he even uses the Freddy mask, which added an extra layer of fun and authenticity to these moments. He wants absolutely nothing to do with Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. He even lies to Abby, telling her that he'll fix up the animatronics, but he has no intention of doing that. He just wants to leave everything behind and tries to convince Vanessa to do the same. Vanessa, meanwhile, is still haunted by her past. She has nightmares about her father and is convinced she'll never truly break free from him. Because of that fear, she hides a lot from Mike, things she should have told him, and all of those secrets eventually push Mike to shut her out of their lives. Like I said earlier, the Spectral Scoopers came completely out of nowhere, and seemed to solely exist to unleash the puppet. We think there definitely could have been a more natural way to bring the puppet back. The toys don't get nearly enough to do either. Toy Chica gets the spotlight, but Toy Freddy and Toy Bonnie are basically background characters, which is a shame because the potential was huge. They are also obsessed with heads. Several times they mention wanting to crush heads or see what's inside people's heads, which is entertaining and adds a darker, more unsettling edge to their characters. We also see the debut of Michael Afton, which we absolutely did not expect, but his role is strange. He isn't like the Michael from the games. He wants to continue his father's legacy and even tries to convince Vanessa to join him so they can carry on William's work together. Yet the movie barely explores this motivation. He just pops up like, hey, I've been here the whole time, and then his story moves on. In sort of a lucid dream sequence with Vanessa, we get a glimpse of her childhood home and even see William working on Circus Baby. This raises the question about the future. Will Circus Baby play a big role in the third movie, or is the film teasing a possible fourth installment? The withered animatronics are also a completely separate group. In the games, the withered animatronics from Fnaf 2 eventually become the animatronics from Fnaf 1, but that's not the case in this movie. So we have the original 4 from the first movie, the withers, and the toys. It's awesome to have all those characters, but way too much for the runtime. With an extra 30 to 40 minutes, this could have been incredible. We get a small subplot with Abby at the school, which is fun, and even though her teacher is awful and the other kids treat her like the weird kid no one believes. However, there is one student who does believe her, and we think he's going to be important in the third movie. Abby also struggles with not being able to see her friends anymore, and she gets upset with Mike because he doesn't really see the animatronics as kids, which they are. They're dead children trapped inside those suits, and she feels like he keeps forgetting that. The aunt is alive and is one of the reasons the Fazbear name is brought back, by telling everyone what happened. Although we don't see her in the movie, her influence is still felt. We're also introduced to Henry, Emily, and Charlotte. Henry barely gets any time, which is a bit disappointing, but Charlotte is amazing. We can't wait to see more of her in the third movie. The puppet, aka Charlotte, doesn't attempt to help or guide souls like she does in the games. Here, she's driven entirely by revenge. After witnessing a child being taken by Afton, she tries to get nearby adults to help her, but they rush her off, ignore her, and tell her to leave. She ends up saving the boy, but she doesn't survive. Afton kills her. It's emotional, brutal, and one of the best scenes in the movie. It leaves you wishing the film had given us more moments like this, but it's clear they're saving most of the emotional weight for the third movie. The puppet uses a wireless connection to control the animatronics, sending them out to target parents and other adults around the city. If Fnaf 3 isn't rated R, it may not land the way it needs to. At this point, they need to go all in. Full horror, full emotion, full everything. We also get a scene at the end where the original 4 animatronics fight the toy animatronics to protect Abby. After this fight, the souls leave the suits and ascend to heaven. They show up, save Abby, and immediately dip, like, alright, job done, we're going to heaven. It has Avengers Endgame energy. It's fun, but also pretty predictable. And for all you Doug fans out there, you're going to be happy. Here's our final thoughts. Overall, this is a great movie. We really enjoyed the experience, but it definitely feels like a giant tease for the third film rather than its own complete story. Our rating is 3 out of 5 stars. Great horror, great characters, and great lore. The movie is packed with suspense, emotional elements, and some really cool fight scenes that are a lot of fun to watch. The animatronics are well designed and genuinely intimidating at times. The story hits some strong emotional beats, and there's a steady sense of tension throughout that keeps you engaged from start to finish. Even with the PG-13 rating, the filmmakers managed to make the scares, action, and moments of horror feel impactful and entertaining. But that's just our opinion. Let us know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.